This week we look at number 11 in our studies on Deuteronomy. This is entitled Deuteronomy in the Later Writings. And what could that be all about? Well, it's looking forward from the time when Moses gave those speeches recorded in Deuteronomy to the future and the impact that Deuteronomy made, in particular 2 Kings and the story of Josiah's how could we best say it? Reclaiming of this book of the law. We also have material from Nehemiah, reading of the book of the law to the Israelites, and in Jeremiah, God calls on people to repent and alludes to Deuteronomy 40:24, and Psalm 148 references Deuteronomy 10, and Jeremiah 29 references Deuteronomy 4, and Micah 6 had parallels from Deuteronomy, and so it goes. But my main point is that it has an enduring influence, and I think the best example is that of King Josiah. We are now some 800 years on from when Moses gave those speeches to the Israelites, and it's all been written down, and people are supposed to be following this, but 800 years is a long time, thereabout. And it really does seem that the people have forgotten about all of that, and they weren't paying attention to what God had said through Moses. And they had the temple, sure, and they were going around and performing some of the ceremonies, but not really identifying with what God had said. King Josiah comes to the throne 8 years old, and in the 18th year of his reign, so a quick bit of math tells you that he's 26 or thereabouts, and he wants the temple to be restored, and in that process of restoration they find the book of the law. Verse 8, Hilkiah the high priest told Shaphan the scribe, I found the book of the law in the Lord's temple. He gave it to Shaphan to read it, and when Shaphan reads it, he realizes this is a very important document, and he takes it to the king and gives a quick report on the progress of the refurbishment work, and then says, Hilkiah the priest has given me a book. Shaphan read it to the king. We don't know if that's the whole of Deuteronomy. It'll take a little while, but certainly he gave the information that Moses had given to the people, and when the king heard what was in the book of the law, he tore his clothes. Verse 11. Then he gave orders to Hilkiah the priest, Ahikam son of Shaphan, Akbor son of Micaiah, Shaphan the scribe, and Isaiah the king's assistant, saying, Go and talk to the Lord for me and for the people and for all of Judah about what is said in the book that's been found. For the Lord must be really angry with us, because our forefathers have not obeyed the Lord's instruction in this book. They have not been doing what is written there for us to do. And to cut a long story short, you can read what it says there in 2 Kings 22 and on. There is a religious revival. There is a reformation because of the reading of the book of Deuteronomy. And I want to believe it wasn't just, okay, let's get back to all the required rituals and so on, but a remembering of what God had done for his people and his ongoing presence with the people, so that they would then go back into a good relationship with God. And while Josiah was following that, things went well for the country. And of course, he was one of the last good kings. Right after that, things went downhill rapidly, and you end up with the Babylonian captivity. So, truth be told, that reformation in Josiah's time did not last. And it's very sad. But the lesson that we learn from this for ourselves today is that the book of Deuteronomy was very significant in the later writings, and as we'll see next week, especially in what Jesus said and did. So let's not just dismiss it and say, well, it's not a book that appeals too much. Let's go back and look at why it was written, what Moses had to say, and the kind of picture of God that he presented, because I believe that even now, in our later times, Deuteronomy still speaks to us.